Something I really wanted to do when I came up with this video idea is try and fill in some of the minifigures that were missing from that Season 1 lineup. Characters like Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve were notably missing, and we've never had minifigures of those guys from LEGO, and I know there are a bunch of different versions out there, but considering I had a bunch of parts in my collection, I wanted to see what I could come up with. And hell, maybe I can give some ideas to people who wanted to make these kind of characters as well. Now I want to start off with Nancy. I really did like her character throughout Season 1, but I did notice that a lot of her outfits are incredibly difficult to replicate in LEGO. She usually wears like this red jacket, a print which I really would like to see LEGO come out with, but I had to go with the next best thing, and that's actually from the original Stranger Things set, Lucas's torso. Even to things down like the blue shirt underneath the red jacket, he seems to have this jacket that was pretty much built for Nancy. The only things I do wish are these dark tan pieces at the top were more of a light tanny color, but honestly, this is 100% the next best thing. As for the face print, I have used another Hermione one. I really do like this face print. I feel like it looks a lot like the actress that plays Nancy. And as for a hairpiece, I've used the ponytail hairpiece. As in this particular scene, she has her hair up in a ponytail. As for her accessories, I've given her some white gloves. She did appear to be wearing white gloves in the scene. I've given her this gun, as this figure was based off of the scene where her and Jonathan were going to take on the Demogorgon. Something which we could recreate in this model, considering there are two trees basically holding up this entire model. But considering we've never had this minifigure before in LEGO, I'm actually really happy with the recreation that I've managed to do here. As for Steve, I knew immediately I wanted to use the Egon hairpiece, and then I kind of worked backwards from there. I found this scared face in my collection, and that was fine because I wanted to have him fighting the Demogorgon in my final scene. So even though the alternative face print doesn't look a lot like Steve, I think this one works fine. Then I've given him some dark tan legs and a torso from one of the recent Harry Potter figures. As for an accessory, I've given him a baseball bat. It's just his iconic weapon throughout Season 1 and Season 2, and even though Nancy and Jonathan gave it to him, it really does become Steve's weapon. So I've given it to Steve in this situation. Last but not least, here is Jonathan. I've given him this nice swept over hairpiece. Unfortunately, I only had this in dark brown, but I do think it works, even though I think it would have been better in reddish brown, or maybe even dark tan, depending what shot you're looking at. I've given him a Frodo Baggins face print, just because Frodo has these really nice lines underneath his eyes, something I really do think would work really well on an official version of this figure, even if the alternative face print is completely wrong. One thing I really did struggle with Jonathan was the torso. Throughout Season 1, he's seen wearing a black jacket with a striped shirt underneath. Now, the closest thing I had to that was actually an old Rebel torso. Now, I'm really glad it was the older one and not necessarily the newer one, because the newer one has pockets on the front, and I don't think that would have worked in this situation. And I just replaced the blue arms with black ones just to make it look more like Jonathan from Season 1. As for an accessory, I've given him a little camera, just because that's what he's known for with Season 1. And there are my trio of figures. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are saying, well, what about Barb? Well, we actually got an official Stranger Things figure of her, and I ain't paying that much for an official figure, considering she was a Comic-Con exclusive. I know a couple of my friends have had the opportunities to buy it, but I've had no such luck finding one at a decent price. As for a mod that's not technically to do with the set, but something I think would be quite cool to do, and it's pulled straight out of Stranger Things Season 2, one of my favorite scenes is when all of the guys go to the school dressed as Ghostbusters, and they had to chill all day at school just wearing Ghostbusters outfits. We're going to take our Ghostbusters that we got from the LEGO Ideas set and give all of the torsos and proton packs to these guys here. As for the legs, unfortunately, I don't have any light tan mid legs. I only had dark tan ones, considering I've got a lot of Harry Potters in my collection. But they did make regular tan mid legs. You can only get them in one set currently, and that's the Herbology Classroom book from Harry Potter. And on Bricklink right now, they're pretty expensive. So if you want to do this look, I'd highly recommend getting those legs just when they become a bit more available. And I know two of them are classified as Vankman, and I do have another Vankman torso. It's just the one from LEGO Dimensions with the arm printing, and I wanted to keep these guys consistent. But yeah, there's a lot of Ghostbusters things you can choose from if you want to make these figures the true figures. Especially because these guys do have the Ghostbusters patches on the arms. I would recommend using the printed ones as well, but honestly, this is good enough for me for now. Maybe I'll make some sort of diorama out of this in the future. As for another mod, I'm really not happy with Mike's hairpiece. The Surfer Dude hairpiece I felt never worked. For Mike, I understand why they did it, considering I don't think they had many options to choose from when this set came out, especially for a kid who had longish hair at the time, but I actually think this hairpiece from Harry Potter works much better for this era of Stranger Things. Obviously, I don't think we'd use this hairpiece for a future Season 3, Season 4 time era of Mike, but I do think this one works good for now. Speaking of which, Dustin and Lucas both need their hairpieces replacing as well, because in the Halloween scene when they were out and about, Dustin doesn't wear his hat and Lucas doesn't wear the bandana. I found this fairly standard hairpiece for Lucas. I think it works much better than something like the Black Panther hairpiece, even though I probably would have chosen the Black Panther hairpiece if we were doing a Season 4 Stranger Things mods video. And as for Dustin, I found this Michael Knight hairpiece, which I think works really well for when he doesn't have the hairpiece. I wish it was reddish brown instead of dark brown, but like I say, because I'm trying to figure out stuff from my own collection in this video, this is a lot of make-do stuff. Now, as for the last thing, this is something that was sent to me specifically for this video, and I love this thing to bits. This thing is the case from Wicked Brick. Now, this video is sponsored by Wicked Brick, but considering we've only had the one Stranger Things set, I think this is a glorious case to put this in. Now, with all Wicked Brick stuff, it does come flat packed, so you do have to build this, but they're fairly self-explanatory instructions. The sticker that does depict the normal world and the upside down is not put on for you, so you can choose which way you want the upside down or the normal world to be on top. And once you have this thing built, you can display off your fantastic looking upside down set, and even has room for that plaque that you do get with the set. The case itself is made of a laser cut 3mm acrylic, meaning the set itself isn't going to get covered in dust, and acrylic is known to help UV rays. Just putting your Lego sets in cases does make them last longer. I now have many Wicked Brick cases in my house, and I can vouch for their quality. The joins on their cases do not look ugly at all using these really nice metal cubes, and the printed stickers they use on the back to depict the scene are printed on nice high quality paper with a nice high quality print. I really like how this set looks once it's in the case, that nice white line separating the real world from the upside down, and I think this really is the best way of displaying the upside down set. And you'll notice in this video I didn't really talk about much of this set itself and the interior, but that's only because this is a fantastic set, and I honestly really recommend anybody who has this set to get this case to go along with it, and to try out some of the mods that I did feature in this video. If you guys want to check out their case and all the other stuff that Wicked Brick do, I'll leave a link to their stuff in the description below. As for the people who don't have this set, it's such a shame, because I really want Lego to make more Stranger Things sets. And considering I still think there is a rumor going around that we're getting more Stranger Things sets, even though we had the Brickhead earlier this year, I'm really hoping that some of these minifigures that I've made in this video can become a reality in maybe a future set, like something like the Starcourt Mall, or Vecna's Mansion, or something along those lines. I would love to see minifigures like Max and Robin and Steve and Nancy, and not in the form of just Comic-Con exclusives, all of which could be done in a set like Starcourt Mall. But right now, I'm really happy at the Stranger Things set that we got, and I'm really happy that Lego dove into a more horror-themed theme. Stranger Things is one of my favorite shows, and I've binged all of it, and even though we don't see the Byers house in Season 4, the set itself, even though it came out such a long time ago, is fantastic, and this Wicked Brick case just takes it to the next level. Thanks again, Wicked Brick, for once again sponsoring this video. You guys have been a long sponsor of the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. And guys, remember to check them out by clicking that link in the description. I know I talked a little bit about Comic-Con figures in this video, but if you want to hear my full opinion on things like Comic-Con figures and exclusive figures, you should check out this video that's appearing on screen now. Remember to like this video, and I'll see you over there.